All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Desk Side Chat. My name again is Connor, Client Success Manager here at RegPack. We might get some more people coming in, but I wanted to get started because I'm really excited about today's webinar. We're going to be talking about sessions in RegPack. This is a tool that we've been working on for a long time, and we've been continuing to add more and more functionality to make sure that we're getting the most out of this tool. And starting last week, now all of our clients and super admins, you can access the ability to create new sessions yourself. So I wanted to take some time today and go over the tools that you need to do that. And there's a lot of different details here. So I'll try to make sure that I'm using specific examples going into some of the essential tools with sessions. Feel free to continue asking questions, and I'll try to get to as many as I can today. But also our support team is ready to help and address those questions when it comes to how you can get the most out of sessions. So without further ado, let's start by just talking about what sessions really are. I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen right now. Because you might be asking, oh, Connor, I can already put dates on my products, and what's the difference between a session and what I'm already offering in RegPack right now? And essentially, there's with sessions, and I'll go ahead and show the difference in terms of what they look like when you're creating them on the back end. But with sessions, essentially, you can add a start and an end date to your regular products. Like if we were to create a new product, you have the ability to create dates on these services or activities. But with sessions, you have more control over the times that things are available. You can pick and choose days of the week. You can also have a set schedule and choose, there's a holiday this week, and so you can take that holiday off, as well as time conflict management, some check-in tools, prorating. We'll get into all that as we go, but basically the idea behind sessions is any sort of program where you want to keep track of when people are actually showing up. If you have multiple days that you're offering it, there's lots of different reasons why you'd want to use sessions. And the good news is if you already have your products and what you'd consider your sessions built out in this section, the services or activities section, which is what the default has been with RegPack. If you have a start and end date that you already added, or if you're going to add one in, you do have the ability to transition those into a session as well. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm not getting this out of my current setup. You can easily make that change even if you've already opened for registration. So let's go ahead and get into some of those details right now. So when it comes to sessions, let's take a look at some examples of what those look like. So a regular date-based product will look something like this. And so the head level of the product for sessions looks very similar. So let's actually go ahead and create a brand new one, so we can take a look at what that means going from scratch. So we'll go for offering with sessions, and you'll notice that the controls on this product are pretty similar. So if we were to switch to service activity, these controls are pretty much the same. The only difference is that the actual sessions, the time slots that you're signing up for appears here once you have these sessions in there. So we'll go into this session here. Actually, let's make this before and after care. It's a product that we haven't had in this one yet. By the way, please continue to ask questions, chat questions here, host. I want to make sure that we're getting as many questions answered as we can when it comes to sessions, but also I know that we had a admin email that went out with a different recipe regarding setting up what we call anonymous systems. So if there's anything else outside of sessions that you have questions about, please feel free to start asking those, and we'll make sure to get to those today. So we'll go ahead and start by adding a price here. And by the way, when you add a price, and even some of these other controls as well, you are able to customize these per session. So say our base price is 500, you can change this per session as needed. So if you have other sessions that might be longer, more hours, or more complex, then you can add change the price, add a surcharge, or vice versa. If there's less than the, the standard length or something like that, you can reduce that price on the actual session itself. So I'm going to just go through all of these different settings just to sort of refresh on all the different controls that you do have in products. Typically with a date-based option, you usually have the ability to just select one, but when it comes to sessions, you might have, for before and after, you might have a before session and an after session, so you might actually want to turn that off. So that's something up to you. It really depends on how you're setting this up and the controls that you have per session product. Now, when it comes to assigning admins, instructors, that's another tool that you'll have. And this is, part of making it easier for more than just, maybe yourself to access RegPack. So if you have other team members, people who need to be keeping track of specific groups of applicants, whether that's students or travelers for a trip or things like that, and then you'd want to make sure that you are able to assign those admins to specific products. So going into this actual session itself, so now I'm going to go ahead and create a session. Let's do before care. Now we'll go for first thing when it comes to your session, you want to get a start and an end date. So let's go for we'll start by next week. We'll do 1 week before care, and what days of the week. Let's do Monday through Friday, and then in the AM. So this is before our program. We want to make sure we get people who are able to have that option. We'll change the start date, and it also gives you the ability, as I sort of clicked through, but just to clarify, you can either pick standard start and end times, but you can also personalize the times as well. And let's say, if you only had these products that are being offered Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you can also change those dates as well. So let's go ahead and finish. We'll go to, 9 o'clock, 7 to 9. We'll keep that the default, but you do have the ability to change, when you're adding in those time slots, and that does help with the check-in, check-out, the time conflict management, so on and so forth. So now when it comes to, we've got these options here, which is the prorating. So this is another part of sessions. This is automatically going to, if somebody, for example, on Tuesday decides, after Monday, what they need their kid to have before care, then they can sign up on Tuesday and it'll automatically calculate based on the price per day, per session. So it'll calculate based on what the total cost is and then divide that accordingly. You also have the ability to choose whether or not your admins can select only part of the session. So if you, for example, right now are offering it and somebody really only needs that Wednesday or the Wednesday, Friday, then you can turn this on. And you also have the ability to add a surcharge and a minimum or maximum of amount of dates that people can select. So this is within one session, the different tools, the controls that you have when people are selecting. I'll leave this off for now, but know that even if you do have it prorated and you have the surcharge enabled, so let's say there's a $10 surcharge to only select one of the days before care. So even if somebody signs up on Tuesday, it'll prorate, but it'll also add that surcharge in per session. Now, when it comes to the options here, these are also within the setting. Before I go ahead and click out of that, you do have controls within the session itself. So you had those settings that are in the general product level, but also per session, you do have the ability to add in descriptions. You have the ability to add in your quota controls, as well as your purchase protection options, things like that. So all of that stuff is going to be, as well as your reporting options as well. So stuff like that is things that you can add in on the session level, as opposed to just having that control on the product level. So for example, if you had a location, let's say multi-purpose room, or in the case of if you have a online offering, then you would be able to include, a Zoom link right on the location here. You also, of course, would have the ability to send an automated email with that link so that you can make sure that people who pay for it get that location, as opposed to, for this example, you'd obviously have a record of who's paid as they show up to the multi-purpose room. But an internal ID, this is something that automatically will show up on your when you're running a product sales report. So if you have a record of how you're keeping track of your products internally and a process for that, you can add in that internal ID, as well as these options are going to allow people to filter by those tags, and they'll see those options when they're actually viewing the products themselves. So I'll go ahead and update this right here. And then also the days here, it's going to show me which days are being offered, and it's automatically calculated that price here. Okay, so now when it comes to if you already have products and you want to make sure that you can turn those into sessions, whether that's because of the check-in ability, because of the prorating, time conflict management, you name it. If you have a product, you need that to go into a session, here's how you get that done. So on the session, if you just hit edit, on that session yet, but on the product itself, you have as soon as you hit settings, you'll have the ability right here. It says convert to offering with sessions. So just as a refresher, these are the details on this product. I've got a start and end date on it already. I have some filtering and reporting options that I've done. I've got all the controls that I already want on here. And all I have to do is convert this to an offering with sessions. When you click this option, it gives you this video that we've recorded, as well as some details about what sessions are. If you're watching this webinar, hopefully this is already answered for you. But once you've got that done, you just hit OK, and then it's giving you that ability to create that session. So on this SAT Prep Summer 2, it basically then makes that the general product. And then within that product, that offering, you can create as many sessions for that option as you need. So I'll go ahead and create that session. I believe was a month of August offering. So I'll make that for the full month of August. I'll keep that name the same. And then we'll do we'll make this a full day, 9 to 5. Well, it's a lot of SAT prep. Let's do 9 to 2. We'll be a little bit kinder to our students here. Yes. Okay. So for this option, we obviously want to make sure that people are signing up for the whole thing, but we also want to encourage people to sign up even if they've missed, the first week or so we can give that option to auto prorate. And then when it comes to creating that session, we confirm that we understand what the changes are going to mean. And then it's going to tell us exactly what needs to happen in order to go ahead and do that. So the session date here, this is essentially, it's just warning you, if you have a conflict between your, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for example, versus the actual start and end date. It was telling me that I have it through Friday, but I actually picked the 29th as my end date. So just so I can have that control, it's like, okay, thanks for reminding me of that. Let me go ahead and update that session so that it's actually ending on the right day to the 28th. Now, when it comes to creating that session, so now we already have this session here, and what happens is that automatically those who have already ordered the session itself, they are automatically added into that session. So you have right here, now we've got everybody who had already ordered that session. They're right there, and those orders are displayed here. So when it comes to sessions and what the prorating looks like, by the way, so let's go into the front end. Let's go into what that looks like for a user. Let's go ahead and refresh. Let's show our options. And now we'll take a look at what those types of sessions that we have here. So here's our location. We've got we can see that we can select the days if we want to. And then here is the SAT Summer 1. And this is what it looks like if you have it, so it's set to automatically prorate, because we're here on June 12th. The session had technically started on June 1st, but we still are able to select this option and pay the amount for the remaining days. So we can see that the days that are left are, the rest of the month here. And so I can go ahead and, say, let's go for AM Summer 1. And we'll go for Summer 2 as well. So I'm going to just go ahead and create this test account. I won't go through the entire process here, but now we can just go ahead and say, hey, we've got this test account. Save that information. Continue on. I do want to show what it looks like when it comes to the cart list. So it's now showing me exactly what I've ordered in. It's showing me what the day's options are. It shows me that I'm enrolled out of 35 out of the 37 days, and then it's showing me exactly how it got to that price point here, how it calculated that. So one other thing that I'd like to clarify, I didn't provide an example right here, but it's pretty self-explanatory. When it comes to products that are full and you have a wait list, something that you are able to include is if somebody is able to select the product and you have the wait list enabled, it's not going to, on the cart list, it's not going to show that they have to pay that amount right now. So since in general you're not able to pay for something that you're on the wait list for anyways, what is happening moving forward is that it'll show that what the full price would be, but that currently they're paying $0 because they're on the wait list. So something to look out for. That's a change as well, just to make sure it's more clear for applicants moving forward how that works. So this is what it looks like once we've selected our sessions. Now when it comes to the session itself, one other thing I want to just cover while we're here is the check-in, check-out tool. So I'm going to select one that includes times from right here, somebody who has already selected and is enrolled. And so we're at right now, it's Friday within this session, it's Friday the 12th. So, and it's between 9 to 12, and I am able to go ahead and check in, check out this RegPack student right here. So the way that that works is if I go ahead and check in, it's going to show all of the different sessions that I'm eligible to check in for. It'll also keep a record of past days that have showed up. But for right now, we had just selected this product, and today's the first day, so we can go ahead and check in, update, and it'll record that check-in. It's also going to show, how many times that they've been checked in out of the eligible times. It's going to show that timestamp. It's going to show who did that check-in as well. So all of that is recorded within the system. You're doing that from the user's actual orders. So that's how it's currently working. We're always looking to add more and more functionality in terms of the check-in, but this is something that you'll be able to report on. You'll be able to see the details of exactly what happened here. So my Connor F account did go ahead and just check this in. It says exactly when that happened. Okay, so a lot that we just unpacked there. To sort of recap, one, when it comes to sessions, you are able to change your current products into sessions if you need to. And some of the benefits of sessions is being able to control specific time units, the time conflict management, which basically allow, so if you have I can go ahead and look at an example of that in a second, but we've got time conflict management, the ability to update the prices. So whether that's through prorating if they select something late, or a surcharge if they are selecting, choosing to select a la carte the days, which so it encourages people to select full options and show that there is, if they do need that flexibility, it also helps you control your pricing without having to do any sort of discounts or credits or surcharges outside of the system. It's going to do it right there automatically for you, as well as the check-in, check-out tool, among other reporting needs that are enhanced by the ability to use sessions here. And when it comes to how that works on the front end, and once you have these already set up, essentially it's going to display the days that that people are eligible for. It's going to show the actual prices for what they're paying right now. It's going to show as well what they're actually enrolled in and when they're checked in and checked out. Okay, so now when it comes to some questions here. So can you change the quota of a particular day in a session? So for a particular day in a session, whoops, let's go into a session. So when it comes to your quotas, so your quotas are going to be for the sessions themselves. What you can do is if you are selecting the option to have people select part of the session, you do have the ability to customize that quota, or essentially what the system is going to do is it's going to make sure that the total per day is filled. So if we have a quota that's set to 30, but people can select certain days and not all days, it'll be 30 per day or per time unit, as opposed to just 30 across this whole session. So sessions make sure that you have all the the amount of the full capacity that's possible. That's how it helps you control the quota. So per day, you can't say Monday is going to be 30 people, Tuesday is going to be 50. But if you have, for this specific question, for this specific session, a quota of 30, if you have the partial selection enabled, it'll make sure that if 25 people sign up for Monday, but 30 people sign up for Tuesday, it'll still allow people to sign up for Monday. So what does time conflict on the front end look like? Okay, so let us go ahead and create an example of that right now. Let's go ahead and make this storytelling conflict with one of our SAT options. So summer 1, convert to sessions, go through this as quickly as possible, but also sort of refreshing what I'm actually walking through here. We'll go through this from the beginning of June to the end of June. Create that session. Okay, and let's go ahead and make sure we've got some times on those sessions. We'll create a new one to make sure we've got times on there. So that is the only thing that you want to be careful of. I rushed through it. When you're creating a session on from a product that you already have, is that it is going to, and storytelling, it is going to automatically fill that spot, which means if you already have orders, you're not going to be able to change the actual times and things like that. So some people have already ordered and made payments towards the session. You can't start changing the pricing and the days on that actual session. You can create new ones and change, switch them over to the new session. But once they're already in it, you have to create a new one in order for them to select that. So, okay, so we've got the 9 to 12. It's going to conflict with our SAT one. So we'll go ahead and create that. And now let's take a look at what it looks like on the front end. Let's log out here. And now let's take a look. So if I go ahead and do the AM Summer 1 with the storytelling in the morning, now it's going to automatically show me, oh, well, these dates conflict, which one do I actually want? So I'll go ahead and keep that option for the for SAT. So it's going to automatically keep that on my options there. So when I sign up, it allows me to keep the SAT option. So essentially, the system is going to give you that warning as soon as you select something that is conflicting. That was just an example of what that looks like. And that's the same on the back end, by the way. So if we were to go ahead and try to add, a product onto, well, these are people who have all selected the SAT Summer 1 and the AM. So if we were to try to add the storytelling, it's going to show me that, you know what, actually I can't do that. Let's keep this option. When you pull a report on this checkout feature, what information gets pulled? So the information on the check-in, check-out, currently it's just the basics of, where are we? So the basic check-in, check-out, that they were checked in on these days and they were checked out on these days, so on and so forth. However, that is something that we are continuing to add in when it comes to reporting functionality, and we're also in conversation with a few of our clients just trying to figure out what information is relevant when it comes to check-in, check-out. So feel free to reach out to us if you have something specific when it comes to check-in, check-out reporting that you need. We want to make sure we have the information that makes it easy for the people who are doing the checking in, checking out, whether that's on the administrative staff or if it's instructors or teachers or counselors, as well as once that's done, who's actually looking at those reports. Is it the same person that did the checking in, checking out, or is it different individuals as well? So when it comes to the reporting on the check-in, check-out, that is something that we're continuing to add as well. And just a refresher, actually, before I close that up, when it comes to your reporting. So let's go to, actually, we've got more orders here on the AM order. So when it comes to your sales report, this is something that I did want to just cover when it comes to these the product information here, when it comes to the location, the instructor, the internal ID, that sort of thing. So those are pieces that you have the option of adding in. You can assign the instructor, you can add the location, and this is something that you are going to be able to add in when it comes to the actual sales report itself. And you also have the ability to add in your sessions, session days, those types of reporting as well, start and end date. And that's sort of if you're looking for more information on the actual session itself, as opposed to just a general sales report. So when it comes to sales reports, that's we're also adding in functionality in terms of the what information you're getting from the orders and the payments that are coming in associated with these sessions. One other question, I have product and products I didn't create as a session, and I created them as a service like my old ones, added dates, and now when I go to the system and hit the actual program, I get a message saying that there is a date conflict. So if you do have date conflicts, but you want to be able to have people who are selecting more than one, my best recommendation is if there are different times that those are offered to convert those into sessions. That makes it easy to keep track of exactly when people are going to be showing up. You have those start and end dates. You have all the benefits of adding in those dates, so it's easy to include that when it comes to your products and manage that. And then you have also making sure that you still have that time conflict management as well. So yeah, if there are overlapping dates but the times are different, then that would be my recommendation, would be to convert those into sessions. One other thing I did want to add in as a note here while we're looking at this screen, you might notice that there are some difference in terms of the quota management tools here. So if you do have more orders than you need to, or than you're able to have, and you have a wait list or things like that, so that information is now displayed right here on the side panel. It's showing me how many orders I have, as well as the actual quota that I have. So, and this ratio, this is part of something that was on RegPack already, but that just shows you the number of people who have paid versus the total orders. So it's showing me, like for example here, it's got me the orders, it's got me the quota, it's also got the amount of people who have been waitlisted. So it's showing all of that information right here. Now when it comes to your wait lists, you also have the ability to manage your wait lists a lot easier now. So let's go back to that same product. There's the college essay writing. We can now increase and add to cart right from there. It automatically increases by 1, and then you add in the product right there. So college essay writing, now RegPack student is automatically enrolled. So that's something that we had been working on as well. With the ability to now create your own sessions, you also have the ability to, or we've also increased the way that you can view the quotas, the people who have signed up, and the full amount of orders. Okay, so that's all the questions that I have gotten so far. A lot of great questions. I'm glad we were able to spend a good amount of time today on the questions. If you do have more questions, feel free to reach out to our support team. Again, we have been working on training everybody on these new changes, as well as making sure that we're all aware of the best practices, because there's a lot of different ways to go about setting these sessions up when it comes to each individual session, the controls that you have, the head level session product for the the general, like for example, if you have one general session and then the different offerings like AM, PM, within that session, as well as the actual category and how to still leverage that additional layer of control when it comes to sessions. If you do have other questions there, or if you're looking for more information on sessions themselves, regpacks.com/help. If you just search for sessions, there's the create and manage sessions, which starts with the video, but also we have a full amount of detail on the tools that you have to create sessions, to edit sessions, and to make those changes as well. So definitely, if you have other questions at this point, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I do appreciate everybody for showing up. Really excited to be able to share this with you. Again, this is something that we're continuing to add new and more functionality to, but now that you have that ability to create your own, you have that ability to manage your time conflict management, as well as your controlling and your pricing and things like that. That's something we want to make really easy at this point in time. So yeah, thanks everybody again for coming, and we'll talk again on the next one in 2 weeks.